just to get it on. So, Robert Earl Dean, with that being said, we have a really great interview today.
Oh, yes, we do.
I only got about three beefs with him.
Yeah,
But
but you always got a beef with
you
somebody.
know,
So we're going to pray for your deliverance today.
yeah, but you know what? All my beefs are really, really, poignant and
Yes.
on timely.
Okay.
So, Robert Earl Dean, who do we have with us today?
You all, we are so honored to have this young man. I mean, multi-talented. He's amazing. And we're so thankful to have him up at 6:30 in the morning a.m. And he's smiling and he's ready. Y'all, you gonna remember him from something when you see his face. This is the one and only Mr. Charles Jones. Welcome to the Wake Up Morning Show with Dr. LT and Robert Earl Dean.
Good morning.
Yes, you up real early and smiling bright.
I know you got me up early. Like I looked at my clock and I got up this morning. I said, is it all right if I do it from Bedside Baptist? But I was like, it ain't gonna look good on camera. So
Yeah,
Right.
let me go and get out of Bedside Baptist real quick.
Man, they'd have been sitting up there like, does he got the cocoon on him?
Right.
What's wrong with him? He in
Right.
bed trying to do this interview.
I told him to go to bed early
Yeah.
because we know the secret to being able to get up every morning doing this.
Yes. Well, let me get my beef off with you.
Yeah, get it off. Let's get it off.
Starting off the bat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to zoom in on you so
Shake it
people
off.
can see your face and everything. I had the pleasure of going to a concert. It was a Christmas concert that Pastor John DeCure and Tanya DeCure had put on and orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this Negro, I have to call it the Negro, that was on the organ piano.
Come on through, church.
that sung and played and everything else of that nature, and literally got me out of my tired seat.
Yes.
And I had to stand up and say, who in the hoojibis is that over there? And I come to find out that it was none other than Charles Jones.
Yes, this young man came from the wonderful city of Houston, Texas. Let's talk about your upbringing, and we have a mutual love for the Shirley Joyner.
Yes, we do. Like funny, yeah. In Houston, Texas, I used to play for the PhD choir. Which is like the baby choir to the
Southeast
Inspirational Choir.
Mm-hmm.
And I have such a love for Shirley Joyner, for Reese,
Yes.
and Carl Preacher is still to this day my favorite organist.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people, I never want his name to be forgotten.
Never.
I want people to be talking about him. And yeah, I didn't know who Carl Preacher was, but every morning on a radio station in Houston at exactly 10 o'clock in the morning, they would always play My Liberty. And when it got to that organ solo, I was like, who is that?
Yes.
And then I finally got to meet him, and then I begged him for a lesson,
Yes.
and he gave me an organ lesson. And yeah, I love Southeast. They were doing some things, and Carl
Yes.
and Shirley were doing some things that just were innovative, for those times.
Well, I'm not trying to guess your age or anything, but you only look like you're in your 20s. So with you being that young, how do you know all these legends?
They're legends.
Oh, I'm a studier. Listen, I love it. If music moves me, I'm about it. So I'm a studier. I just love it. You know, something crazy? I'm turning 40 in 8 days.
Wow.
Really?
Wow. You leaving your 30s and you're going to join you're going to be 4 decades.
One decade?
Do you not know that, I tell every black man in America, if you could get past your 2 decades, you are blessed.
Yes.
If you get 3 decades, you close to where Jesus made it to. And if you get to 4 decades,
Come on.
boy, you have done something. And I thank God because I'm on my 5th decade.
See, come on now.
Yeah,
He's running for Jesus and ain't got tired yet.
yeah.
Now, what church did you grow up in Houston? Because there's so many great churches there.
Yeah, there are. Absolutely. So, the church I grew up in was St. James United Methodist Church. It was a church in Fourth Ward, Texas, a Methodist church. So that's the church that I've been at all my life. But then the thing about my church history is kind of interesting, though, because I would play there. So my mother was Methodist and my dad was Baptist. So, my one grandmother's side is Methodist and my other grandmother was Baptist. And so to kind of put those, what I would do is I would play at my Methodist church every first, second, and third Sunday. And then on fourth Sunday, I would go to my grandma's Baptist church in Studewood, Studewood by the Heights in Houston. And so that's how I kind of got my fix,
I want to tease you because you're living in California now, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so, I noticed if you're in New York, they got boroughs, and they got aldermen, and then you was in Texas and you said wards, right?
Yep.
Ain't you happy to be at liberty and freedom where you could just have a city and a community?
Hell, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice to just kind of be here in LA and just be like, oh, where do I live? Like, I live in Highland Park right now.
Yeah,
right.
I always tell people, I said, when you come to California, this things is different. Well, where do you live? I live in Chula Vista. I live in Paradise Hills.
Yeah.
You talk to New York, I live in the ninth borough,
right?
And things of that nature. So let's talk about your travel around the world and the people that you work with.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah. Funny, you were talking about Spain earlier, and I have a love for Spain. Like I've been to Barcelona, and I'm not gonna lie, the food there is amazing. And so you're talking about meat and things like they do everything tapas style. It's great, and I do have an appreciation for.
Well, stop. Not every black person know what a tapas is. You got to go ahead.
What is that?
You got to explain.
I don't know what it is.
You got to explain it. Some folks like, what's a tapas?
Right.
Okay, so a tapas is like, think about it kind of like it's like appetizer food. So it's kind of like small dishes. So like when I went to in a tapas restaurant, you get like 4, 5 to 6 things, and they're all like little small plates. So like one of the dishes that I had there was like a bread with like a caramelized pear with goat cheese on top of like a bread that they made there, and then like another tapas would be kind of like a piece of, you're talking about bacon, like a piece of pork bacon with like like a brown sugar crust or something like that. So it's like these little dishes, so you'll walk in and there'll be a bar and they'll have all these dishes out and they're all like they look like samples, but yeah, they call them tapas because it's like small portions.
Oh, so like horse d'oeuvres in America, horse d'oeuvres.
Yeah, like the horse d'oeuvres.
Okay.
So what brought you from Houston, Texas to California?
But no, he hadn't finished talking about his travels.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
The crazy thing is, to allude to that, I think it'll be I've traveled a lot. I've been to I've been to a lot of countries. I've been to Spain. I've been to every country in South America.
Wow.
I've been to Europe. I've been to Prague. I've been to the UK. Been to Italy. I've been to Africa. I've been to Turkey, Canada. There are places I'm forgetting, but okay. I have 2 passports, 2 old passports that are both stamped like crazy, to where like I had to get like extra pages on my passport because it's so full.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been amazing to travel and to work and play with people. Like I've been on tour with right now, like I'm currently working with Andrew Day when she goes out and does things, and been on tour with Raphael Sadiq, been on tour with Josh Stone, worked with Jennifer Hudson. I've been out with Shaka Khan. I've been out with I toured with Mary for a little bit. It's just been really fortunate to just be able to go travel and work in the studio and do all these things, like I don't take it for granted.
Okay.
And so you asked me, how did I get to California?
Well, before you answer that question, yes, I want to know, have you ever been to Willicoochee, Georgia?
That's a real place.
I think you got me. I've never been to Willicoochee, Georgia.
Okay.
How far is that from Atlanta? Probably everybody always asks is, how far is that from Atlanta?
I have no idea. I just hear Cedric the Entertainer talk about he was from Willicoochee, Georgia. So I just wanted to know if you had ever been to Willicoochee, Georgia.
Because you ain't been to it. Right.
No, I definitely ain't been to it.
I've never been to Willicoochee, Georgia.
I've been to Wapasica, Arkansas.
Have you been to Wapasica?
That's my mama's from.
All right, Wapasica.
Right.
Willicoochee and Wapasica. Go on, Robert Earl. Answer your question about what brought me to California.
What brought you to California?
Well, actually, what brought me to California was school. So, like, when I graduated from HSPVA in Houston, I got into USC out here, University of Southern California, and so college brought me out here, and it was a blessing because I wasn't planning. My plan, I auditioned to go to USC, just kind of like just kind of see what happened,
right?
But my plan was actually to go to Boston and to go to Berkeley and Boston, the music school that everybody goes to, you know.
Right.
But I found out about my acceptance here to USC more, and then like they gave me money and to come here, and I was like, yeah, I'm coming to California. And my mom knew, like when she dropped me off, she said, son, like I know that this is where you're meant to be, so just you can settle in and just be what you got to be here, and don't worry about me in Houston, I'll be fine. But I know that this is right.
Now I want to tell you that I applied to USC. And I was, waiting for my acceptance letter from USC.
And what happened? Right?
And full scholarship. That's what I was waiting for. Yep, but I had all these other colleges that wanted me to go there, right? But I wanted to go to USC mainly because they had the prettiest co-eds in all the colleges that I was going to, right? And so I told my mom, I'm going to USC. And my mom said, okay, on signing day, if USC offers you a full scholarship, you can go to USC, but if not, you going to Berkeley, right? Berkeley gave me that full ride and everything like that and all the bells and whistles. And on signing day, USC hadn't got all of it in. Do you not know that on Monday they offered me the same thing, but I had already did my letter of intent and everything like that. So go ahead.
It was the opposite.
Really?
So it was opposite. So like I wanted to go to Berkeley and Boston, and I auditioned, did all the things for them. And then when I already sent my letter of intent to USC because I was waiting to hear back from Berkeley, like, about to see if they would give me a scholarship. And lo and behold, I found out after I sent my letter of intent to USC and committed and did all the things that I had a full scholarship to Berkeley. And I was mad because I was like, what? I said, why couldn't you let me know earlier? But now I think about it, I am over and beyond happy that I'm here in Los Angeles because I don't think things would have happened the way that they did if I wasn't here.
Man, and you would have had to have a whole different prayer life because that snow out there in Boston ain't nothing nice.
Sir.
But when you came out to California, you was wearing sandals all year.
Listen, I was not about the sandal life, and what I call we'll see, for me, I'm gonna call it the Ugg life. Right. Not the Ugg life, but what do you call those things? Crocs.
Right.
And I was like, I was about that Croc life when I got out here because it's like right now, like yesterday, it was the high was 75 degrees. And it's just beautiful and gorgeous. And I thought that I would like snow because I'm like, oh my god, it looks so nice on television. But then I thought about like cloud, like about like getting it off of the car,
right?
Thinking about like people, and I just I'm good,
right? And now, how did you feel growing up in the culture of Houston's music? I mean, you grew up around Reese's and Yolanda Adams, because that's the Southeast Inspirational Choir. For many of you don't know, they're the choir that produced Reese Joyner, Angela Bennett, Anna Boney Brown, Yolanda Simmons Jones. It's just so many great singers. Christopher Williams and Gregory Curtis, one of the most prolific producers in R&B. How did you feel growing up in that culture of so many great singers and musicians?
You know what? It's like iron sharpens iron. It's just like when one thing about like being in Houston and all that, like there were just singers, and just even like my auntie, like I can't wait for the world to hear like my Aunt Deborah. She's one of the best singers that I know, and I don't say that just because she's my auntie. Like, right. I mean, she just is bad, But yeah, it's just like being around all that. It was like iron sharpens iron. Like Carl Preacher, when he directed Southeast, like he didn't mess around. He was real like, we got to go, we got to do. And it just kind of like this culture in Houston where it's just like, no, if you're going to play, you got to bring it.
Yeah.
And it just, it just always kind of just helped me, like, just kind of help me keep my edge. And yeah, just being around all that, like one of my brothers is a Robert Glasper, and who is an incredible pianist. And we went to high school together. And like on break in practice room, like Robert would show me stuff on piano, and so like, be like, how you do that? How you do that? How you do that? Show me that, And he would show me stuff, and then when I finally got Carl Preacher to give me a lesson, it changed everything, him and then another organist like Daryl Johnson and like Leon Lewis, Luke Austin, like all these keyboard players that were just crazy, like Chris Daddy Dave. Like the first time I heard Chris Daddy Dave playing on Kim Burrell's record, her first one,
right?
And then like him playing in Mint Condition, and like now him being one of the most prolific drummers right now. Who people, it's just that Houston is just special,
It is.
And the funny thing is that even in my later years, like not my later, but like I keep finding out, oh, this person went to Houston, oh, this person went to Houston, oh, this person went to Houston, and it's just rich. Like being around all that growing up, it definitely like challenged me, and it definitely like it kept me on my game in a lot of ways, because if when you play in a church, if you're not giving it, then mother say, all right, come on, all right, go and sit over there,
right?
You come on up and you do that,
right?
Kind of brutal in a lot of ways. It's good.
So let me, I want to dispel a rumor. And I want to see if you could help me dispel this rumor. I don't know. It was sometime when you was in high school. It was Easter Sunday, and you came with a special suit on. Could you tell me about that suit that you wore on Easter Sunday?
You talking about me? I had an Easter suit on?
Yeah.
Tell me more about this rumor, because
I'm just trying to deal with the rumor that you had a special suit on that everybody saw you while you was playing.
When I was a kid?
When you was like in high school.
When I was in high school, I'm trying to think about this. I can't remember that happening. I'm trying to.
Because it's a rumor.
I guess it was a rumor. I guess it was a rumor.
Look at you. You going right in. You going right in with him. He was making up that. Jesus Christ. Now. Right. Now, who was the first artist you ever played for on a professional basis when you came to California?
I came to California. My very first gig was at B.B. King's Blues Club. It doesn't exist anymore now. Now it's allowed. Now it's the Comedy Club doesn't exist either. So like, doing gospel brunches. So like, then went from there, and I did the House of Blues gospel brunch for a while.
Yeah.
And then even did a little touring with them. But I'll probably say like my first major artist that I played for was it was Raphael Sadiq. Yeah, wow. He was my first.
Wow, his verses happen to be a legend.
Like and listen, I still trip out to this day. Like he is my brother, and I literally owe a lot of the opportunities that I have. They're connected to him because he just really believed in me and just allowed for me to just really flourish in this situation and just really encourage me. So yeah, like my first real show was with Raphael. I remember I was working in the studio with him, and then he went out on tour, and it threw me right into the gauntlet,
So let me ask this question, because when I met you, you have this great personality. Yep. You love to laugh. You appear to love to have fun. So tell me, give me one incident that happened on tour that just almost had you fall off your keyboard pedestal because it was so funny.
Oh my goodness. Let me think about this for a second. Let's see what comes up. This is a good question. Wow. What's happened on the well I mean, I just think about funny moments that happen where we're singing, and the singer would do something, and like the singer thought that they had a note that they didn't have, and then they would sing that note, and they knew that note was being recorded. And my favorite moment is like when you can't laugh, but all you can do is like look at each other. And I would say this: we were at the I'm not going to give the name,
right?
But one of my favorite moments was we were at the Soul Train Music Awards, and we were on stage rehearsing, and this artist to the side was working with their singers. See, the thing about musicians is like when funny stuff happens, like the funny stuff for us is stuff that happens musically that we can't ever get out of our mind. So, here's a story. We were in Europe. We were in Paris, France, and we were doing this concert where we were doing duets with like local artists. And this one artist said, we're going to sing Michael Jackson, and what's this? You and I were made to path. Any motivation last. Where there is love, I'll be there. And so we're like, okay. So I started playing the intro, and this girl singer started singing because Michael Jackson is you and I was made to pass. Right. We were like, okay. So I started playing. She came in an octave lower and said, "You and I must make a pass." She said, "Make salvation."
But that was good for her.
Where there is love, I'll be there. And we were like, no. And then Raphael came in singing at the real octave.
Right.
And like was killing. And then she came in. If you should ever have something, and you were just like, that moment was so funny. Like we all had to take a break. Like I was saying, I'm like this.
Was she a contralto?
Because I couldn't. Yeah, she was an out. She was like a straight up tenor. Well, she was a straight up tenor, and so like we didn't know. We were just like, it's Michael Jackson. We just assumed that, if you're a lady, you're gonna sing that way in the original key.
Right.
But she came and lowered the rate, and we were like, that to this day is like we still laugh about that, and that was like at least like 8 or 9 years ago.
Wow.
And we still cackle hard.
I have a question. How did you get to play with Jennifer Hudson, which led to a movie that you appeared in?
Yes. Okay. So that all went down. I auditioned to be the rehearsal pianist for Dreamgirls, and so I got the job. Thank goodness to actually Raphael and Fatima Robinson, Fatima Robinson took a risk on me, and I'm just so grateful for her. If you don't know who that is, like one of the world's best choreographers.
Yes,
she choreographed Michael Jackson's "Remember at the Time."
And Aaliyah,
and so she hired me to be her pianist. And that job has kind of led to me not only being her pianist, but just kind of like playing piano for lots of things in the production. And so when Jennifer came in and auditioned for Effie White, that was the day that we met. So when she walked into audition for that role, I was on piano, and she walked in, and she said, she was so sweet. She said, "I think we're gonna be friends for a long time." And she's saying, "I'm telling you." And I still remember that moment like it happened yesterday. It was just magical. Like it was not a dry eye in the room. And she just, I'd say that she just brought God. When she sang that song, it was like God just came and moved in. It was just like, well, here I am. And it just kind of just sat on it, And so then that, working with her, then that led to them putting me in the movie and me playing Carl, the piano player.
Okay.
And,
with Joel Whitley. With San Diego's Joel Whitley on the upright bass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, I got a beef with you, though.
You know Joel Whitley. Oh, that's the homie.
Him and I grew up together in the same church of God in Christ. We've been friends all of our lives. I mean, all of our lives.
And Joel used to play at Victory.
Yes. He played at Victory because John DeCure's mom is from San Diego. And the San Diego connection.
I didn't know that Clamady was from San Diego.
Yeah.
Yes. Before she moved as a teenager to the Pasadena area.
Well, let me deal with my beef.
Yes, deal with your beef.
I'm going to deal with the beef. And I'm going to say it this the way I feel it. Negro, when you played in the movie, Jennifer was amazing. But when you did the run on the piano,
that club scene,
I was like, when she's like, when you said, "Do you know this song?" and everything like that. Okay, I don't know him. Man, when you start playing,
I am changing.
and you start, that was it for me. You know, you literally, and I have to tell you seriously, and I didn't know that until right now, you literally changed the atmosphere by how you played that song. And so I'm telling you right now, that scene would not have been that scene without you.
And it was so incredible because she was working her way back into the industry. So she was coming humble. Mm-hmm. She was coming like, this is my last shot again. Mm-hmm. I need a change. I need this. And it all fit to have you and Joel, two church boys. Two church boys destined to be put in your positions because you both are from the same texture.
Yeah, from same cloth.
Yeah.
But what I loved about that scene was you were there for her and you didn't leave. In the movie sense, you were there for her. Mm-hmm. You were very humbled, and you gave her everything that she needed to make her come back.
Whoa, man!
And then when they did the turnaround and then the full band was there, you were still there. You feel what I'm saying? So
wow, what a big moment!
Man, that was I kid you not, that's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Wow.
You know, so dude, amazing, because when you did the, woo!
That's that church. That's that church boy coming, and it's funny because Houston prepared you for everything that came afterwards. And people don't know, what did you study at USC?
I studied USC. I was a music industry major, and actually like my instrument was opera. So that's what I studied at USC. Like I studied that, and it got me ready. You know, it got me ready, and I would say like playing in the church, and definitely helps because like even in the industry this happens. Hey, like even Jennifer would be like, hey, I'm gonna just follow me.
Right.
You know. And a lot of people can't just like, okay, here we go. Like even with Andrew, like my favorite moments with her have been where we just kind of go off of the cuff, and we'll be singing Rise Up, and she'll be like, keep playing, and she'll just flow over it, and it's just that God moment. It's like that's when just God comes in.
That's church.
And that's church, and I've just seen it happen. I've seen it happen with her from everywhere, from a little club to the White House. You know. Yeah. And like, you know, that's what else. And so like, it's just like that definitely happens. That definitely happens because of church. Yeah.
Well, man, I want to say this. I didn't know that I was such a big fan of yours until right now, because I didn't know that was you on the piano. But again, I was so amazed with that scene. You know, you're gonna make me cut that scene out and put it all over the internet all over again. But what I love about you, just real talk, is that I met you in person just a few weeks ago, and it was almost like we knew each other from times past because of how open you were and how kind you were. How has that helped you in the industry? Because it seems like because of your personality, people are automatically drawn to you.
Thank you so much. Well, for one, that means a lot. It was such a pleasure meeting you. Like I remember, like we were talking on the front row in the church to the left side of the church. I remember exactly where we were talking at the Victory. I just, you know what? For me, like I just feel like I just treat everybody like their family. You know, this is like my whole thing is like I only play with brothers and sisters. You know, and even like sometimes like if there's some just, you know, like if people are just whatever and where they're not, and even like that's the money. I put it to like it's like it's the money is like it's good to make money because we need it, you know, to survive in this world, but that's not the primary thing for what, you know, I choose gigs with. And so like I don't know, like I just care. I want people that I play with to just know that I love them, and to just know that like, and to just know that I'm here, you know, more than anything else. And I just think that, you know, that just makes authentic music and real music translate, you know, just in all the situations that I get to be in. And so, yeah, I would just definitely say it's definitely nice to be kind. Like people want to be around kind people, you know, and people are like, well, you got to be this. And I always say that, like, I mean, like there comes a time and a place where you have to produce and make things happen. Right. But I just feel like it always just kind of has to be with like a spirit of like humility and just kind of like what spirit of kindness to what everything that you do, because that's where the best work happens anyway. Like rumors say, oh, you gotta, and it's just like, no, the grind is real as far as like working and all that. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I just found myself to be just extremely blessed and extremely lucky to just be around so many musical moments that have impacted me. You know, yeah.
And his spirit passes just black people. I follow you, and none black are drawn to you. That says a lot because you're more than just a certain race. People love people, good people across the board.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's just really cool because and the crazy thing about me is like there's a lot that I don't know. So like I'll be talking to people and I won't know that they're famous. I won't know like the things that they've done until later. Like I was working on an album for one of my friends, and a friend of mine just introduced me to him, and I knew nothing, and so like. And he was just like, hey, like, I've always, like, followed you, Charles, and I've always wanted to work with you. And so we started working. We were working throughout the pandemic. And you know, like, being safe with masks, vaccinations, like, everything.
Right.
And we completed this record, you know, during one of the heights of the pandemics in 2020. And it comes to find out that this amazing human, you know, was the star of Netflix's #1 show, you know, and has been in lots of movies. And has just done so much work, and you know, it's from the UK, and it's just like I just don't know these things. I just like working with him because he was a cool person, and so I just kind of find that that's been happening a lot in my life, to where like I'll work with somebody and not know. Like I did a show with this band called Portugal the Man, and I did 2 shows with them, like one at Red Rocks and then one in Portland. And I didn't know much, but then I got into but then I found out. I started telling friends, "Hey, I'm working with these really cool guys named Portugal the Man, and just so sweet." And I'm like, "Dude, like they're huge." And I was just like, "Oh, I didn't know. I just end up in these rooms, and I end up with people, and I'm just like, I just think they're cool, and I think that just kind of like makes it feel like family, because I don't come in with the awe of like, oh my God, you know, and even with people that I know, it's like, oh my God, I still just kind of like, I just kind of care about like how they're doing and want to see how I can support them, you know.
So my last question is, how did you and John DeCure connect?
I would tell you exactly how we connected. So, you know, there's this keyboard player by the name of Nelson Jackson, who he plays at West Angeles. He doesn't play West Angeles anymore. And like now, he did a lot of touring with Ariana Grande, which I'm so happy he got that, because like brother is one of the baddest ones in LA, and it just makes me happy. So Nelson, when I came out here to LA, I was playing for the gospel choir at USC, and Nelson is good friends with Rachel Whitlow, who Rachel is a director at the time, was a director of the gospel choir at USC. And so Nelson saw me play, and Nelson was like, hey, I'm going to get you on. And so Nelson started calling me for all these gigs, for all these church gigs. So I was going to this church, going to this church, going to this church, playing keys and singing and doing stuff. And Nelson, when Victory opened up, like Nelson, I remember his words, he was very specific. He said, this church is special. He said, Victory is special because just like God always shows up at this church. Like it's kind of unusual, you know, and they just have something really special there. The music is, the bishop is amazing. I really think that you're going to dig it there. And that's what he told me about Victory. And so then I went and that's how I discovered Victory. And that's how like I started like, you know, playing with John. And then John, I'm gonna tell you, so you know John. So John got on my nerves a little bit, because at Victory, like Victory was the one church that I can't even talk about. But Victory was when I first got there. It was the one church that I didn't quite understand the presence of God. So like I would play keys, you know, it'll be cool. Then John would play keys, and then God would just like slay the whole church. And then I would play keys, and I'm like, you know, trying to see, you know, where it is, you know, and just kind of like, and then John would play keys, and then it would be over, because I know that he played with Promise Keepers, and when he was playing with Promise Keepers, it was amazing. And now, like, then he had Vessels at the time, and Vessels was killing the game, and so John, then I was like, how do you do that? I want to learn how to do that, and then John would just like during church services would show me, be like, and would show me things, and then I feel very fortunate to be able to do that and like learn how to like watch God and follow God and kind of see
flow,
like what he's going to do in the moment. And then now that's translating to the industry. And so like now the industry's I'm having these moments to where, like, just the other day, like I was at a friend's house and we were all there, and I just kind of felt like I was like, I want to play. I feel like I need to play piano. So then I kind of like moseyed over to the piano, and started playing, and we had a spiritual moment at dinner, and everybody was just in tears at the dinner table, like, whoa, what just happened, And so like, I know you didn't ask me all that.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
That's good.
That's good.
That's my connection with John, and that's how, and that's how we met. And like now it's real cool because then like now, like I'll call John, like John played with Andrew Day, and I'll be like, hey, I can't make this team, and I give him a hard time. I told him, I know you're a pastor, but I'm gonna make sure you still play.
Right.
So hey, come do this gig for me at Andrew Day. Go play for Andrew while I'm sitting at home and I can't do it. And so all right. And so like because I'm not gonna let him not stop playing.
Right. Because he does not want to. He'd rather
even at church sometimes I give him a hard time, and I'll be like, hey, come play the organ. Just come play.
Right. The
organ's free. Just come sit up here.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Well, man, this has been a blessing for me. If I sound like I'm being extra quiet at this point, it's because I'm piecing all the pieces together.
Yes.
From just the brother that I met, and I said, "Oh, this dude is amazing."
Yes, he is.
And I saw you, and the funny thing is I remember Robert said, "Man, we want to interview you," and you're like, "Why you want to interview me?" This is the reason why we wanted to interview you, because your humility, but also your giftedness people need to know that, and they need to see what excellence look like in different forms. So I thank you for your time.
I want to say that I saw him when he came with Raphael Sadiq to House of Blues years ago to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, I remember that show.
And I walked up afterwards. I was like, oh my God, you played with John DeCure. And then from there we had Thanksgiving together at John's house across the street from the school.
Yep.
So from there, he became family to me. He was already family to them. But Charles is the same yesterday, forevermore. And then our connection was Reese Joyner in Southeast, because everybody in the world knows that Southeast Inspirational Choir is my favorite choir in the whole wide world. And I had a chance to take a picture.
Did you say wide world or white?
Wide world.
Okay, I thought you said white world.
And I had a chance, no, the white, black, purple, all of them.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And I had a chance to send a picture to Reese Joyner. And people know Reese calls me her little brother. So Reese was like, oh my God, that's one of my kids, Charles. So it was just beautiful to have the Reese's and everybody know him, and they're so proud of him from Houston. She said, that's one of my kids from our camp, because they would do a music camp. And Donald Lawrence used to attend that same choir camp thing when he was a youngster under Brenda Waters, who was one of the original founders of Southeast with Shirley Joyner, and called Preacher. Yep. So it's a big umbrella that spreads throughout the world of people that Southeast connection influenced. Donald Lawrence, he said he would come from the Carolinas as a 14-year-old to come to their music camps in the summer.
Well, one of the things, we could talk on and on and on.
Yes.
We need to get you down here in San Diego on vacation so we can hang out and show you what real road tacos taste like.
Oh, he's coming.
Because it's closer to the border.
Hey.
Listen, I already know. Like, listen, National City Tacos, Chula Vista, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Tacos El Gordo?
Wait. There you go.
See, he knows. They come from hither and farther to come here.
Yeah.
Tanya and John DeCure do too.
Yeah.
He's paying on my project.
Amen. Robert always got to tell everybody who we can't keep nothing a secret with Robert.
Have to. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's
we want to wow people when they come
wild
out
when they hear it.
Anyway, Brother Jones, thank you so much for doing the interview. You know, this is your station.
Yes.
You are always welcome to come. When you come to San Diego, we want you to come in the studio with us so that we can have a good time. But we appreciate you. Thank you for loving on the family of the Cures and also Audrey Day, because she's from San Diego. Thank you so much for being that vessel that's still praying and being behind her as she's going forth. And thank you for just being who you are. Our prayer is that you will continue to be healthy and that that everything that you have prayed for will come to pass. Any final words?
I have a request.
Yeah.
That we play "Inspire Me," led by Reese Joyner.
Oh, I had My Liberty, but
which one do you want to hear, Liberty or Inspire Me?
You know what? Liberty is my favorite song.
That's what I thought he had
That's
said.
fine too. Okay.
Yeah. So, any final words, my brother?
No, like I just thank you for having me this morning. I just feel like I just love y'all and just keep just being a source of inspiration and joy. You know, we need this in this world, especially two black men. You know?
Amen.
So that's what's up. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, you have heard from the world-renowned musician, vocalist, our brother. This is Charles Jones, and he said, "Play my favorite song." So here it go from this is Yolanda Adams and
at the age of 16 years old.
Southeast Inspirational Choir right here on GOD Radio 1.com.
That's that car preacher lick, y'all.